Hello, I'm Malcolm. Happy New Year and welcome to edition 1985 of the Enfield Talking Newspaper. With me on the reading team for Thursday the 8th of January 2015 are Angela, Katherine, John and Ian on the controls. And the items we'll be reading are the copyright of our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent. This week's local stories include confusion at Cuckoo Hall, 6 potential options for Cycle Enfield, a man celebrates his 108th birthday, and a wartime spy is honoured 70 years after his tragic death. I'm sure you know by now that you have a listener's representative, Diane de Jersey, who will be happy to help you with any problems or concerns you have about your talking newspaper. You can call Diane on 020 8805 6578. That's 020 8805 6578. And now here's Angela with the first news item.
2 conflicting versions have emerged as to how an investigation is progressing into managers of Free School Empire in the borough. As reported previously, 3 senior figures in the Cuckoo Hall Academy Trust were suspended over allegations of gross misconduct in November by the then chairwoman of the Board of Trustees. Executive head teacher of the trust, Patricia Soter, her husband and one of the trust's directors, Phil Soter, and Sharon Armett, head teacher of Cuckoo Hall Primary Academy in Cuckoo Hall Lane, Edmonton, were suspended pending the results of an investigation by lawyers and the Department for Education. Chairwoman Andre Efimiu was voted out of her position unanimously by trustees on the board shortly before Christmas. In a letter signed by a new interim chairman of the board, Marino Charalambros, still available to view on the school's website, states, "The board has unanimously agreed that Mrs. Andre Efimiu will no longer be involved with the chat or any of the chat schools until current investigations have been concluded." The letter is dated December the 18th. However, the advertiser was contacted by Mrs. Efimiu, who insisted she had made the decision herself to step down voluntarily on December the 11th, 2004. She said, "I would like to make my position clear. I would like to make it clear that I stood down from my position voluntarily after I was advised to do so by my lawyers leading the investigation into allegations of gross misconduct." She said she had made the decision as disciplinary action was taken against her husband, Nick Efimiu, who is the former site manager of Cuckoo Hall Primary Academy, and this forms part of the misconduct allegations. She added, "There was a clear conflict of interest and I stepped down. My loyalty has always been with the school throughout this investigation, and the welfare of the children at the school will always be a main priority." With 2 conflicting versions emerging from within the school's ranks, the advertiser contacted the school directly seeking official clarification. However, the marketing manager, who usually gives statements on the school's behalf, said that he had been told that no one on the board wished to comment beyond the letter on the website. In a bid to seek corroboration of either version, we tried to contact Matthew Laban, the head teacher of Kingfisher Hall Primary, one of the schools in the Trust's empire, as we had been told he was the most senior figure in the Trust at the moment, but he was unavailable for comment. The advertiser has learned that the investigation is going to conclude tomorrow.
A multi-million-pound cycling scheme could see a cycle lane created through Enfield Town, according to the first draft proposals up for discussion. Enfield Borough Council last year won a £30 million cash pot from London Mayor Boris Johnson to improve cycle lanes in the borough. And the first draft proposals presented to the Cycle Enfield Partnership Board on Monday show 6 potential options for the future of Enfield Town's road layout. These options are still to be finalised and could be amended or joined together before 2 or 3 options are put forward for official consultation in February. According to the proposals seen by the Enfield Independent, 5 of the 6 options suggest Cecil Road, which circulates the town, should become a 2-way road for the first time in more than 20 years. This idea first raised eyebrows last year with residents in Cecil Road who said they feared a surge in traffic could see more accidents. Patricia Quinn of Cecil Road said, "I don't think they can redo the road without the loss of houses or green space. You will still get a lot of heavy goods lorries articulating round into Cecil Road out of Sansfield Road, which will be dangerous." There were also concerns about changes to Church Street, which had initially been set to be cycle and bus lane only. However, the draft proposal suggests there could be room for both cars and cyclists down the main thoroughfare, with 3 of the 6 options keeping traffic running through the town centre. Chris Theodoulou, who has owned Emma Clare hairdressers for more than 30 years, says he had reservations about the plans that won the bid for the local authority. He said, "I think it would be best to send cyclists round Cecil Road, not through the town centre. This is a golden opportunity for the council to revitalise and save the town. They must not be stubborn. Providing we all work together on this, then Enfield can improve. I'm not convinced that taking traffic out of Church Street will improve trade. If anything, it will kill it." Councillor Joanne Laban, environmental spokesman for the Conservative group at Enfield Borough Council, said, "I'm glad there is now a shared space option on the table because amenity groups have requested this. But all of the options alter the layout of the town. And for this project to work, the final option must have the support of the community. Otherwise, it will be a waste of public money." 4 of the 6 first drafts also see cycling routes joining car lanes around Genotin Road and London Road, with option 5 creating cycle-only lanes in London Road. Proposal 4 is the only one that implements cycle lanes on Cecil Road. Councillor Terry Neville, who attended the meeting, said he was appalled no resident representation was present. He said, "Neither FERA, the Federation of Enfield Residents and Allied Associations, or any other resident group was present at the meeting, which is a real own goal by the council. We must have transparency in deciding which plan goes to consultation, and there should have been one residents' association at the meeting." Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "Our proposals for Cycle Enfield are complex and sophisticated, and we are taking the time to get them right before we formally publish them and invite residents and businesses to comment on these proposals. We have attracted significant investment into our borough, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to revolutionise cycling in our borough. Enfield Council is absolutely committed to improving our cycling network, transforming our borough for residents, and getting more people on their bikes, and Cycle Enfield will be integral to that process."
One of the oldest people in Britain has celebrated his 108th birthday. Michael Clanger, who lives in Anastasia Lodge Care Home in Arundel Gardens, Winchmore Hill, welcomed every generation of his family to the home to celebrate the landmark occasion. Mr. Clanger is believed to be the 2nd oldest person in Enfield, having moved to London from Cyprus in 1956 with his 2 eldest sons, Andrew and Costas, joined by his wife and 3 other children the following year. Mr. Clanger set up a grocery store in Camden Road, Camden, which he continued to run until he retired in his late 80s. Costas Michael, his 2nd son, said, "We're all very proud of him. We have all been able to come down and visit him, which I know he is enjoying. He was very pleased to receive a telegram from the Queen last year and today. He has always been a family man and to this day enjoys a glass of whisky or red wine." Born in the town of Analeonda in Nicosia, Mr. Clanger has 17 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren. Mr. Michael added, "He used to be a fine singer and dancer as well. He has always been a very happy person, and I think that is the secret to a long life." Until 2010, Mr. Clanger lived on his own, with routine visits from his family, but at the age of 103, he moved to the home in Winchmore Hill.
A spy for the British too, who hid in plain sight behind German lines in Italy, was honoured yesterday with a memorial service in a small village he briefly called home. Peter Chapman was born and brought up in Brimstone, pardon me, Peter Chapman was born and brought up in Brimsdown Avenue and was a pupil at George Spicer's School in Southbury Road, Enfield, when he decided to sign up with the army at the outbreak of war. He was soon fighting on the front line in North Africa, and Peter's sister, Gwen Coaster, 86, of the Brackens, Enfield, told the Advertiser that he was captured during a particularly intense desert battle by the Germans, who then turned him over to the Italians. They interned him in a prisoner of war camp near Verona in the north of Italy, and when the Italians surrendered to the Allies in 1943, he was able to escape. He'd just learned that our other brother had been killed. He was with the Atlantic convoy, and I think that knowledge filled him with a kind of need for revenge. It became personal, and he wanted to keep fighting against the Germans, Gwen explained. On the run from the Germans, Peter sought refuge in the Verona countryside, where he was taught fluent Italian by the 8-year-old daughter of a woman who smuggled food to him. Armed with this new skill that helped him sound like a Verona native, and with detailed local knowledge built up from his time in hiding, he joined the partisans, Italians fighting against the German invasion. With the Allies trying to advance up the country from their landing base in the south, and the Germans holding firm onto their northern territories, including Verona, Peter was able to get behind the German lines to carry out high-level intelligence operations for the British, who smuggled his assignments to him in airdrops. He was very brave, Gwen said of her brother. I know he was the kind of person to keep fighting, but because of what happened to him, I sometimes wish he wasn't so brave. The Germans learned of his spying and resistance activities and placed a bounty on his head. Just before the end of the war, on January the 6th, 1945, when he was just 22 years old, Peter was shot dead by 3 fascist fighters who spotted him out riding his bike. However, his memory lives on, and 70 years to the day after he was betrayed and killed, a special memorial service was held to commemorate his life in the village of Castel di Persana. The Italians thought so much of him and looked after him, added Gwen. I'm very grateful to the Italians because, to be honest, England doesn't seem to want to know. So it is wonderful to know he's being remembered so proudly.
Romford Mazda is now offering its Motability eligible customers an extra bonus. For the first time, the all-new Mazda 3 has been added to the lineup of new vehicles available through the Mazda Motability scheme. Eligible visitors to the Romford Mazda showroom in Collier's Row, Romford, can now purchase the Japanese brand's entire 6-strong model range on the scheme, providing 88 different specifications to choose from. In 2014, Romford Mazda made several new models available to its customers in Essex and London through the scheme, meaning at least 2 types of every Mazda model were on offer. Continuing its extremely competitive offers across the range, Romford Mazda has also reduced advanced payment AP costs on Mazda 5, Mazda 6 Saloon and the CX-5 compact SUV. Amjad Shokar, dealer principal at Romford Mazda, comments, our unbeatable nil advance payment offers and reductions in advance payments make a visit to our Collier Row Lane showroom a compelling choice for Motability customers this winter. Excuse me. We are particularly excited to introduce the all-new Mazda 3 on the scheme for the very first time. The model has already proven extremely popular with our customers in Romford. The introduction of the all-new Mazda 3 as an option for Motability customers comes with the added bonus of a nil AP entry point. The stylish hatchback and fast model is rejoined by the Mazda CX-5, returning to the Motability scheme from only $499 AP. Both models are equipped with Mazda's innovative fuel-saving Sky Active engine technology. Like the all-new Mazda 3, derivatives of Mazda 2 continue to be available to Romford Mazda customers for nil AP. For those requiring a little more space, the Mazda 5 MPV is now available from $799. From $799, a £1,000 reduction on its pricing last year. The Mazda 6 Saloon continues to be offered for $399 AP. £200 lower than last year, while the CX-5 compact SUV has now been reduced by £500 and is available from just 499 AP. Full benefits of the Mazda Motability Scheme include 3 years insurance, servicing, maintenance and road fund license, plus full RAC breakdown assistance. For more information, visit the Motability Offers page at www.mazda.co.uk/offers/Motability. To find out more about Motability Offers available at Romford Mazda customers, or should I say available to Romford Mazda customers, or indeed if you want to test drive any of the Mazda models, call 01708 735 735. Visit the dealership on Collier Road Lane in Romford, or go to www.romfordmazda.co.uk.
Drivers are being warned to allow extra time for journeys due to the closure for 3 weekends of the crumbling 4th Street Tunnel for major improvement works. Motorists and bus passengers are advised to expect severe delays as the round-the-clock modernisation works start this weekend to the tunnel on the A406 North Circular Road, which runs under Silver Street Station in Edmonton. Transport chiefs hope motorists will plan their journeys to avoid a repeat of the gridlock which accompanied a previous weekend closure in November last year. The tunnel will be shut between January 9 and 12 from 10 p.m. on Friday night until 5:30 a.m. on Monday morning, and will be similarly closed on the weekends of January 30th to February 2nd and February 13th to 16th. The continuing maintenance works are part of Transport for London's £4 billion road modernisation plan. Drivers are advised to use the M25 instead of the North Circular Road. Local traffic will still be able to use roads directly above the tunnel, but motorists and bus passengers are being warned to expect severe delays and allow extra time for journeys. The tunnel has suffered from groundwater seepage, and the work to install new concrete plinths can only be carried out when traffic is not using the tunnel due to the length of time the concrete takes to set. Since April last year, TfL has been carrying out overnight work to the tunnel with upgrades to the electrics and a new fire main installed, as well as new waterproofing to the walls. Temporary cabling for new energy-efficient lighting and improved CCTV cameras has also been installed, allowing for them to be upgraded this year. Dana Skelly, Director of Asset Management for Surface Transport at TfL, said, "The important refurbishment work we are carrying out at 4th Street Tunnel continues to progress well. However, there are some aspects of the work that, unfortunately, cannot be completed without full weekend closures. We are committed to keeping disruption caused by these closures to a minimum and apologise in advance for any inconvenience caused."
A parliamentary hopeful has criticised the hike in rail fares, which is hitting commuters hard, while the MP she is bidding to replace has called for a public meeting with a train operator over staffing levels and passenger service. Joan Ryan, Labour's prospective parliamentary candidate for Enfield North in this year's general election, said that some season tickets for Enfield commuters had risen by 33% since the coalition government came into power in 2010. She said a season ticket from Enfield Town to Liverpool Street had gone up from £1,200 5 years ago to £1,596 in 2015. She is calling for a better deal for passengers and taxpayers, and said the railways needed reforming with a simpler ticket system and a strict cap on fares on every route. Ms Ryan said that if elected on May the 7th, Labour will give passengers a voice in how the railways are run and stop passengers getting fleeced at ticket machines by making it a legal right for passengers to be sold the cheapest available ticket for their journey. Enfield North's Conservative MP, Nick Dubois, has invited rail operator Govia to a public meeting to give passengers a chance to quiz them about their plans for train services on the line which runs through Enfield Chase, Winchmore Hill and Palmer's Green to Finsbury Park, Moorgate and King's Cross. He said that things had yet to get significantly better since Govia took over the franchise from First Capital Connect in September last year. There are staffing issues, and we need to make sure our trains are running on time, he said. Mr. Dubois wants Govia managers to explain their plans to deal with the staff shortages, new carriageways, and improvements to timetables. Roger Perkins, a spokesman from Govia, said, "Punctuality on our services is 9% better year on year and has shown an improvement every month since Great Northern took over the franchise in September." He said the operator had added 1,100 extra seats in the weekday evenings and 2,500 more on Saturdays on the Hertford and Welwyn Garden City routes combined since December by doubling the length of trains. Mr. Perkins said, "Added to that, the new toilets and refurbished waiting room at Enfield Chase and our plans this month to start the process of building a new fleet of 150 air-conditioned carriages for the route, and I hope we will have plenty to talk about." Keith Gipps, Govia's passenger service director for the Great Northern route, will attend the meeting, which starts at 7:30 p.m. on Friday, January the 23rd at St Mary Magdalene Church Hall in Windmill Hill, Enfield, and finishes at 9 p.m.
Plans to build a school and homes on a hospital site were due to be debated at the time of going to press at a public meeting. Enfield Borough Council's planning panel will meet to discuss the planning application for Chase Farm Hospital's 15-hectare site, which includes 32,000 square metres of replacement hospital facilities, a 3-form entry primary school, and up to 500 homes. Access to the site would be from the Ridgeway and Lavender Hill, with the school reached via Shooters Road. The application proposes the demolition of hospital buildings and associated residential blocks, partial demolition of the Clock Tower complex, the removal of the microwave clinical waste treatment plant and fuel oil burner. The Highlands wing will be retained, and the existing multi-storey car park will be extended. The meeting, open to all members of the public, was to be held at the time of going to press at Highlands Secondary School.
People dressed as gorillas took a giant banana from Enfield to Leeds. Staff at Go Ape in Trent Park, Enfield, joined others from centres across the UK to go bananas and raise $60,000 for the Teenage Cancer Trust. The relay consisted of transporting a giant banana 1,823 miles across the UK from Leeds Castle to Enfield, with the Go Ape gorillas using imaginative forms of transport. Go Ape staff managed to use more than 40 different modes of transport, including breaking the world record for the longest distance space hopped and a trip into space. They also took bananas on as many forms of London transport as possible, including tubes, buses and even Boris's bikes, to complete the final leg of the 5-month expedition. Rebecca Mayhew, co-founder and director of Go Ape, said, "We are proud to support Teenage Cancer Trust and delighted that our Go Ape team has managed to raise $60,000 for such an important cause." The #Big Banana Relay managed to travel an impressive total of 1,823 miles around our Go Ape locations in the UK. It's been amazing to see all the different modes of travel used for each leg of the journey, and it's great that Go Ape Tribe have completed this epic task for such an important charity.
An urgent care unit is now open 2 extra hours a day after its opening hours were extended. The Urgent Care Centre at Chase Farm Hospital will be open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day following the changes that came into force from January the 5th. NHS Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group, CCG, said the extended hours, which are part of a pilot scheme, would be reviewed in the summer. There is currently a 24-hour out-of-hours GP service at Chase Farm Hospital, which the CCG says has low usage. It is estimated that around 1,900 patients will access the service during the extended hours over the first 6 months. Dr Moabedi, a GP and chairman of the NHS Enfield CCG, said the extended opening times would help people continue to receive the right care at the right time and in the right place. He added, "Our Choose Well campaign signposts people to the most appropriate service for their needs. If you are unwell and are not sure what to do, I encourage you to call the NHS 111 phone number." The funding to extend the hours at Chase Farm Urgent Care Centre has been provided by the NHS England Winter Resilience Fund, which aims to help hospitals deal with extra pressure during winter months.
A 9-year-old girl has had her golden locks cut off in the name of charity. Jamie Holbrook from Enfield was inspired to give up her hair for the Little Princess Trust by a girl in her sister's class who lost her hair during chemotherapy. After seeing her long tresses trimmed to a stylish bob at Mode Hairdressers in Lancaster Road, Jamie managed to raise enough money to get her hair turned into a wig. Her mother Claire said, "I am exceptionally proud of her. Her hair is something which is noticed by everyone, so to have it cut from her waist to her cheekbone is a brave thing to do, and she will make someone who needs a wig very happy. She is not the most confident little girl, but this was a very lovely thing to do. I have a friend who lost her hair and is in stage 4 breast cancer, and a girl in my middle daughter's class had chemotherapy, so she, Jamie, has been around it."
And so, as we've come to the end of side 1, please stop your machine, take out your cassette, turn it over, and start side 2.